All right, I have 5:30. We'll call this meeting of Budget and Finance to order. We do have a quorum, have five now that Mr. Ford's here with us. Everybody should have a copy of the April 20th committee minutes. I'll look over those. If no changes or corrections, I would entertain a motion to approve those. We have a motion to approve minutes by Ms. Overman. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Dennis. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Next, last little bit of FY27 budget. We should have everyone should have received minutes from the budget hearings. I believe Amy sent those out by email. I think we need to approve those tonight, don't we? And we can either approve those tonight or wait till next month if y'all want to have more time to look over them. I don't think there's anything pressing on those, so we'll put off the budget hearing minutes. This final review, just a couple of things that we did not get to last week. They'll be short and sweet. Fund 143, the school cafeteria, that was page 72 of the packets. If y'all have those. They project basically little over 1.2 million in revenue and expenses of basically 1.375. Of course, with it being schools, we would only account for the revenues.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve 143. Do I have a second? Second by Jeff Gregory. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Yeah. Okay, next item, 171 Capital Projects Fund. It was not in the packet. It was a handout, I believe the third night. Just to go over those numbers real quick, total revenues estimate in there 372,000. Projects we have proposed in there 10,000 for engineering and professional services for the jail project, 450,000 in there for the radio tower for the sheriff's department, and 200,000 is listed on there for the building for the fire department that they're wanting. Yeah. Oh, there is? Okay.
After page 14.
Okay. Slight correction. It should be in the packet after page 14.
At the budget and finance.
Oh, of the budget and finance packet, excuse me. Thank you for clarifying. And yes, that fire department building has been reduced to 150. And that's based on Mr. Buckmaster's report. Any questions in 171? Mr. Thomas, sorry.
So down there at the bottom, it shows transfer out to 101 of 600,000. This body decided not to do that, correct? Or is that still happening?
Yes, yes, that transfer is still part of the proposed budget for the upcoming year. Ms. Kerr.
Well, first, to follow up on what he was talking about, transfer 600,000, transfer out from what and for what?
Transfer to the 101 to help make that budget work.
Okay. Not from a specific department, though.
No, just in 101 general.
So my question was, the amount that's down for the tower, I know the bid was out. Do we have a,
No, not yet. I believe the bid opening is 29th. Is that correct, Mayor?
we've been told it was out.
22nd. Okay, that 450 is just an estimate. Obviously, you know, when we get a thing that says the bid opening is actually Friday of this week. So, you know, when we get a hard number that we'll be able to accommodate that, but that's just an estimate based on what the sheriff has provided previously. He's stuck by around 400. So, all right. Anyone else have any questions in the 171? Mr. Gully.
Sorry for being late. 5:30 was did y'all know they closed Starlight Road? I didn't know it was closed, so sorry.
All good.
Turn around and come back the other way. On the 171 conversation, emergency tower, the $450,000 for that emergency tower. I don't recall that coming before this committee to pay for that out of 171. I may have missed something. I see it's in here now, but I thought I walked into a conversation saying that was going to be paid, had already been decided from this committee. I do remember doing the fire piece, but I don't remember any additional coming through this committee. I may have missed it.
Well, the part of the reason that we moved the remaining ARPA funds, 127, 128 over into the 171, I think was with the intention that most, if not all, that would be used for the radio tower.
We're not disagreeing. I'm just saying it has not come before this committee is all I'm asking. Did I miss it coming before this committee?
Well, it's currently before us now.
That part we don't disagree with, but I think you spoke a minute ago saying that this committee had voted on it. And I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss a vote. I don't know, Mr. Thomas make a statement that we had voted on 600,000 coming from 171 into 101 to help the 101. I remember doing the 150, but I don't remember anything before that. I just don't want to get any items out of line here. If I like to keep a really good idea of what we moved where, and I don't remember that being moved.
Now, the original 101 budget had a $600,000 transfer from 171 over in there. That was.
Where was that marked into us? The original one that we were handed had a 10 cents from 151. 10 cents from property tax, but I never saw any. I could have missed it. It's very possible. Here's why I say that up. If we've moved as much money as we've already moved and the 101 needed another $600,000, we got a major problem with the 101.
I could be wrong, but I thought
Yeah.
Ms. Oberman
Yeah,
made a motion to,
yeah, page 32 of the budget packets. Transfers in, transfer from other funds, 724,000. 124,000 of that is the walking trail renovation. Fund 171, court civic fees, law enforcement, $600,000. That's 101,49,800.
I'm guessing that was done on that Thursday night where we had eighth grade night at the high school is what I'm assuming, because I would have missed that one.
Now, we did 101, I think we did most of 101 the first night. Yeah, well, yeah, either that Monday or that Thursday.
While we're there, can we, the 600,000 for law enforcement, of course, civic fees, is that for the tower? Was that the goal in that 171? Sorry for being absent that night.
No, no, that's not for the revenue. That's making the 101 budget work as presented.
Can I speak again?
Yeah, please.
So, Miss Amy, will you help me understand if I have told, that's way new money to me. If we, the first night we walked in here to make the 101 work, we needed 10 cents, which is $378,000. Let's just call it. We needed $378,000 from the 151. We needed $378,000 from the of property tax, which was presented to us, 10-cent property tax at that time. We needed another 600,000 from 171 just to balance the 101.
Your packet has not changed since November.
I didn't say it changed, but I missed that number right there. All I had been told was these little nice numbers at the top that were nice and brown. And I didn't study the night I wasn't going to be here. Won't lie to you. However, that one is, am I understanding correctly that we needed over $1.2 million just to balance nearly 1.3 million, a little over 1.3 just to make 101 work?
Mr. Thomas.
I believe on that first night, that was explained by the statement of how many of the grants had run their course, and we no longer had the grant money in the budget anymore, and that's what was creating the shortfall. Am I misremembering that?
Let me go back and find the let me find the email with the budget minutes. And it says a fund balance summary was also reviewed. Yeah, we received the 171 capital project handout on Thursday evening, the 7th. Here's 171 had not been reviewed prior to this evening, but 101 had been reviewed. So
I will just state that I have missed that as well in this discussion. I'm looking at 171 right now. This is the first time that I'm seeing that we're transferring 600,000 out of that into 101.
all right, well, we can reduce that if you want to, but of course it also means going back and reviewing what the 101 to accommodate for it or a lower fund balance. But
To this point, we haven't approved revenues,
no,
right?
no.
So that's part of the discussion for that, right?
Yes,
And we haven't approved 171.
correct.
Okay.
It's over.
The first night we started budget hearings, we talked about the 10 cents from 151 and the 10-cent tax increase. And it was my understanding that we needed to come up with $750,000 to make. So we didn't have to do that. That was the number that was in my head that I was trying to come up with.
Yeah, we moved the 10 cents back to 151 debt service
Right.
and okay, and we have cut, not have to go through and see what the exact number that we've cut from 101, but I would say it is probably around the remaining of that, the remaining 378, if not more.
Have we always moved funds from 171 to 101 to make it budget or make it balance? Okay.
No, this is the first time that has been put forth as a part of the budget. Mr. Gully.
Miss Amy, I guess I'm asking this question and I'm a little floored. I'm not gonna lie to you. That I missed that $600,000. My concern in what I'm looking at is what are these large, the $1,200 for insurance is on 120 employees is a very small amount of money. It's nowhere near the 1.5 million that we're looking for right here. I know we talked about some grants that had gone off. I think the sheriff's department grants for these flock cameras, they were a couple of years worth of those flock cameras, and now they've got to pay that fee. And I think that was about 90,000. How many grants are we talking about that have gone off that we've got to spend money on?
Mainly it's your ARPA grants that went off, the one for the health department, of course, the parks. And I think there was a couple of sheriff's ones that also have been completed. Granted, it was kind of that covered a lot of expenses because those went from year to year to year. And now we are here to where we do not have that blanket over us. So this is what our true budget looks like now.
Were those all not one-time projects?
They were projects, but we didn't always expend them every year. We kept that revenue showing every year, though. The revenue was showing, but we never expended it until it all expired this current fiscal year. So all the projects are now done. All that money has now been spent. Revenues will not be reappearing next year.
So this is additional growth above the 11 cents of property tax and the pieces that we did, like the 100. I mean, the 101 itself this year in just increase in penny value got nearly $170,000. In just increase in penny value got nearly $170,000. Just the from 36,529 to 37,895 as the estimated number. That's 170,000 roughly. So we're saying it grew during this time, and the only reason it was looking okay is because grant money was sitting on the books, and that grant money looked like a revenue.
Mr. Thomas.
Is this the reason you've suggested a property tax increase the last 3 years?
I might remind you, we did a property tax increase the last 2 years, 10, 11 cents and 5 cents a year prior to that. So I don't know if she suggested higher, but we have done 2 years in a row of property tax increase, which I try to be. I hope we're not letting, what I guess I'm getting at is we're letting our 101 outrun itself, is what it appears to me. The budget itself is outrunning itself. This is $1.5 million we're talking about in increase of money this year to the 101. I don't know about y'all, but I don't think this county can keep up with that. And that's not even on any projects that we're building or any new pieces, if I'm not misunderstanding here. Sounds like the 101's running away with itself.
Mr. Ford.
Thought other than that, when we left, we hit it down where we would not have no increase.
Uh, we had
That's what I had written right here.
with no tax increase as of last Thursday, yes, but that included the $600,000 transfer from the 171 that apparently escaped everybody.
Well, what is actually thrown to big curve in it right here? Is it 101? Is it raises in 101 caused it?
There are virtually no raises in the 101. No, we did a little bit for the parks folks, then we did the targeted pieces on those. I think Rosalie had a slight, mandated increase in hers, but generally there were no raises in this budget.
Well, what are we looking at now with 1.6 million? What's the tax increase we're looking at, Amy?
Well, we're not looking at one currently now. If, like I said, if the budget is passed, as presented right now, there would be no tax increase, but that also includes that $600,000 transfer from the 171. Now, if y'all want to remove that piece, now that can be done, but then we've got to figure out where we're going to, our fund balance is looking at what we were looking at, a little over $1 million, and half of that is reserved. So if you don't move that, you're looking at having to find that revenue somewhere in the 101. Or move up or in other funds. Mr. Ford.
Ms. Lehman, do you see anywhere we can get some of that without having to raise taxes again this year? You don't know more about it than any of us.
If I did, I would have put it in there. I was scratching the bottom of the barrel this year.
So we're looking at 610,000 we gotta come up with.
Now, only if we opt to not make that transfer from the 171 to 101. Right now, that transfer is in the budget and we don't have to come up with anything. Also, like I said, if this committee does not want to transfer those, to have that transfer as part of the budget, then we need to figure out how we're going to replace that. Mr. Gully.
My concern is not that one number, it's next year's number and next year's number. If the 101 has ballooned to this amount, we saw a massive increase in revenues this year from Enbridge on sales tax. But we're still needing to increase the 101 by $1.5 million this year of revenue.
Mr. Ford.
Have we heard anything from Brandon to see what kind of deal he's made with them or trying to make with them?
Not that I'm aware of. I believe Mr. Beller has been out of town. I believe he's due back tomorrow. Mayor, you're not aware of anything, are you? The discussions with Mr. Beller and Core Civic.
Mr. Beller will be back in town tomorrow and to look at that contract, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so yeah, we don't have anything knowing what that's going to look like right now. Mr. Thomas.
So as Landon mentioned, the sales tax that we got from Enbridge from all the pipe. Well, our budget only got 43% of that. The schools got 57. So we didn't get the full 1.2 million. The other thing I'm looking at is if in the 171, you've got 300,000 from the solar farm, which would be the impact fees. And then you've got Core Civics administration fees. That's another 300,000. Well, there's your 600,000. Those both came from fees and taxes. If it keeps us from having to raise property tax, I don't understand. And I get Mr. Gully's point of what are we going to do next year? Well, I guess everyone's kind of hoping, without hope that the Enbridge fees that come in will hit for next year's budget. And hopefully that'll cover it. But this body went over that 101 line by line. I sat here and listened to it. I'm not understanding what all the concern all of a sudden is on the last day of, hey, let's go over this one more time. And all of a sudden, wow, that budget's that much out of whack. I mean, what were we doing the first night?
Ms. Overman.
Just like you to check your attitude a little bit, please.
Let's watch the criticism, please.
We've all spent a lot of time going line by line. Excuse me for missing one line and being a little bit surprised by it tonight. I would really like to not spend it in 171 and figure out a different solution.
Mr. Gully.
Mr. Thomas, my concern, and I guess I like to look too far in the future. I'm counting the Enbridge money for this commission is already spent. Everybody's already spent it. $2 million. The 1.2 you mentioned was actually a 1.2 million that went directly to the county fund and went directly into the 171. That is in the 171 for that 1.2 property tax or property
Impact fee, I believe.
impact, whatever the number term is on it. What I'm kicking myself for tonight is the 171 was put in front of me in my packet, and I wasn't here when the night that this part was gone over. So I entirely never looked at it. Won't lie, wasn't here that night. My concern is not that we can't cover today, and I agree, we've got a good budget and we've worked hard to get to pieces, but I'd have been working a heck of a lot harder to find out why we needed 600,000 more. What's bothering me the most is I look at it is we're needing $1.5 million to make this year's budget work in the 101. That's a scary number for the future. That's without building anything. We're not talking about something being built. This committee and commission is going to be looking at a strong project in the near future of a jail. And I was hoping that as I left here, that the 171 was in a place where it could put down a strong down payment, or at least in 2 years from right now, pay off that entire loan that was taken out, where Mr. Dennis worked hard to ensure that that money in CDs covered the interest that we were taking, so that pretty much that loan was at zero interest to us, which is something we worked hard to do. Now every bit of that money is having to go back into something else that I didn't know existed. I will not disagree that we had come to a pretty good budget, I thought. Now it's $600,000 more than what I thought it was. That's what's got me in this piece right here, that I want to ensure that when I walk away from this for a while, and would rather be right home right now with my little 2-year-old, because she's crying when I leave, but that's not the problem. I want to take care of this county. My kids are going to grow up in it. If this budget is growing this much and we're not doing anything to our employees raise wise this year, we didn't add anything huge. We didn't add any number of employees. How do we keep this thing going is what my concern is. And we're already spent the money that we hope's coming in. That's like spending money that I think I'm going to get, where we know we're going to spend it on a different project. That's my concern here, 100%. Do I think this committee worked hard on a budget? And I felt like until tonight, we had a pretty good one coming in. I am concerned for next year. We can cover this year. We got money sitting there in a bank account, but that money is going to cost us because it was sitting there for the whole goal. This commission can do what they want in the future, but my goal on it the entire time I've sat in this committee was that money was sitting there to pay off that loan that is waiting for us in the near future. And that loan was wiped out off the books, which takes money from 151 and allows the next debt, which is that jail, to be at about the same time covered. I like to set things up for the future is what I was doing. And that's my whole goal here in this whole piece. This 600,000 I missed it. Missed it.
Well, we all, I think we all have missed it prior to now. Mr. Thomas.
And I'm not trying to condemn or chastise any member of the committee. My point is, as I sat here and listened, I didn't see anything in 101 as it went through line by line that was horrendous. That was a gross overspend. And that's my point. So there's no extravagant spending that's occurring. There's no raises, of any, huge amount across the board like we've dealt with in years past. The revenue is what the revenue is. The expenses are what the expenses are. So I'm 100% agreeing with Mr. Gully and what he's saying. I guess my point is, we knew this though. We went through everything. We knew these expenditures were there. If you look at your revenue and you look at your expenditures, you can see where the offset is. That's why the money's having to be moved over. This is why we are in the situation we are. It's why I voted against doing the swimming pool, coming up with $1 million for that. We were already looking at a huge deficit in our own budget. It's why I pushed back against the school's budget and agreed with moving the sales tax and moving the property tax, because they've got a really healthy fund balance, and that's great. We can't keep contributing to their healthy fund balance while the rest of the budget is sinking. So, I mean, it's an overall thing. We have to look at the running of the whole county and not funding just one department or another. We have to make these tough choices.
Mr. Gully.
So let me get one thing straight. While one department has ran their budget well, let's take that money from another and let's grab it. The one thing that we've been talking about forever is overtime. Seems to be our killer in a lot of areas. I keep hearing the words overtime and I keep hearing the words, Miss Amy has said it's because in overtime, holiday pay comes out of overtime. There seems to be a lot of costs that have increased greatly. I told you the other night, 37% is what the 118 itself has gone up in just 4 years' time, 37%. It ran about the same for 5 years previous. Boom, 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 1.8 million, $1.1 million, 1.8, 1.085, 1.086, right in those range for that long. I'll never think that we should borrow from one to take to the other if one's running those things right. What I'm saying is, what are we missing in this 101 that continues to outgrow itself? It sounds like that Miss Amy is saying that we ran ourselves on money that didn't really exist for 2 years, and now we're trying to catch up. And if I didn't catch that then, I'll take that as I was told budgets were good. We didn't need new money. We didn't need new money. It cost 11 cents to make this work. I'm not putting this on any one person. I'm saying we can't continue running a county expecting to go to the piggy bank, which is the people, all day long, just to grab that money to cover this piece. Are there any gross increases? No, but there must have been over the last 3 years some major gross increases if we need $1.5 million to cover it. That's all I'm saying.
Mr. Thomas,
And I don't have an exact figure, but a good portion of that increase has been and was personnel took it up, was the way that holiday pay was being figured in the last couple of years. That pushed that overtime budget up because people were getting paid their holiday going towards their overtime instead of it being a flat rate. And we never came to a decision to change that in personnel. We left that as a benefit to the employee. And now we're having to pay for that.
Ms. Overman,
We actually passed in Personnel Committee to change that, and it's on the chairman of the commission's desk to bring it to the full commission. But it's never been brought to the commission, but the Personnel Committee did decide to change that. I also have a question.
yes, ma'am.
Miss Amy, can you tell me what line on the revenues where the $600,000 comes into 101?
It is not on the revenue. It's on the very last page of Fund 101. It's part of the other financing sources.
Got it.
Page 32, other financial sources.
Thank you, sir. And this is probably something that this committee needs to go through line by line, ahead of 27, 28. But right now we've got before us 26, 27 budget. And we're in the 171 at this point. So I guess the question is, do y'all want to leave that alone, or move it and then re-examine 101, or what's the will of the body? Mr. Gully.
As bad as this hurts to do, I'll make a motion that we accept the 101 as it is presented. I mean, the 171 as it is presented here.
All right, have a motion to approve the 171 as submitted. I heard a second, but I didn't hear Mr. Dennis with the second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? May I have Ms. Overman with a no? 171 is approved. All right. Mr. Gully.
I do believe we've got a extended battle, and I know you said put it to 26, 27, but if you wait that long, you're gonna be in a mess. There's a problem somewhere that we got to fix.
You know, I'm saying, but between the approval of this budget and before next year's budget hearings, yes, this committee needs to go through this with fine tooth comb and figure out what, if any, fixes need to be made. All right. Next we have before us is the fund balance review. That is page 15 of your budget and finance packets for this evening. Those estimate at for 101, 1,046,552 as of June 30th, 2027. Solid waste 116 at 284,777. 118 ambulance service 355, 382. Oh, Jeff, the tonight's packet, page 15. Uh, 122, 158, 977. 131, 656, 178. 141, 3,001,113. 143, 6,543. And 151, debt service 776, 631. Any questions on the proposed fund balances? Does anyone have any questions on the proposed fund balances? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve. All right, I have a motion to approve the fund balances from Bubba Gregory. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Overman. All in favor say aye. Opposed? All righty. Water Department has asked to go next. Everyone should have received this handout this evening. Like I said, the committee asked to review water budget. Of course, they don't get any county money, so their total revenues show 5,965,077. Expenditures at 48,32,953. Anyone have any questions of the Water Department? Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Ford? As far as I said, if there are any raises for y'all's folks in here?
No, sir. We usually follow what the county does most of the time.
Are there any further questions for the water folks? I don't think we need a motion on this since they don't get any county money. This was just for review. Mr. Gully?
I think in the past, we've always done a motion on this because it is still part of the county. It is owned by the county and was purchased by the county. If you wish not to take a motion, we won't, but I hope this committee and commission always continues to understand that there was a time when that water department had to be bought by the county because it was under, and that wasn't that long ago. It is a part of the county and important to continue looking at. I will state that right now in this case. I believe Mr. Crook will do a fine job in what he's doing there. But I think it's important to note that that's happened twice in its history, and not so distant history.
Understood.
Sometimes we seem to forget how 10 years ago things were, and that's not that long back.
No, it's not. And I'm happy to entertain a motion if someone wants to, but I'm just saying I don't think it's necessary because they don't get any county revenue. But if somebody wants to make a motion to approve it, I'll certainly entertain.
We'll make a little, we'll agree to disagree on that one. I think the tax on the county is the water tax, the water bill that they pay. And I think that is county revenue from the water bill that our constituents pay as well. They both go into a tax on those people. Is there an increase to water rate this time? No, sir. I'll make a motion that we accept what they proposed.
All right, have a motion to approve by Mr. Gully and a second by Mr. Ford. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All righty. Thank y'all. All right, now we'll get back into 27 budget. We're at the proposed tax rates, and those are staying the same. Yeah. Okay, the tax rates are on page 16 of the budget and finance packet. And those have no increase, remaining at 210 in the 101. Yep. All right. I have a motion to approve the tax rate at 210 by Bubba Gregory. Do I have a second? Second by Jeff Gregory. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right. Tax rate is approved. Now, we'll entertain FY27 budget ordinances, which should be in. That was a handout that everybody received this evening. Those reflect, ordinance 347, 2026-09, which is the 101 budget. 348, 2610, which is the 101 tax rate. 349, 2026-11, which is the urban services budget. The handout that everybody received this evening is where we are. Yes. And ordinance 329, 2616, which is the tax levy for the urban services district, which is also remaining unchanged at 67.31 cents. Do we want to send these forward, or do y'all want to review some of these some more at a later date? Ms. Overman.
I have spent countless hours going over this budget and I missed the $600,000. It is a surprise for me tonight. I cannot approve this budget without going back over it myself. I will not make a motion to do that tonight.
Okay, if like I said, we can certainly go back over it at a later date. If that is what everybody wants to do, but before we send it to the full body.
If I missed $600,000, what else did I miss?
I think we all missed it to an extent, so I'm hard pressed to argue. Mr. Gully.
I do not disagree with Ms. Overman's statement in any way, form, or fashion here. And I've stated well that I missed that 600 in looking at this piece. However, what I think we understand is that for a couple of years, we allowed grant money to set as a revenue while we increased pay to our employees, and everything felt pretty good when we gave $1.50 and $1 the year before. And we didn't even consider the cost on those of just the cost itself in those instances of $1. What does $1 cost the county to pay raises? For our employees, full-time employees, somewhere around 260,000. That's just cash money. That's not including any overtime that may occur, any all social securities, Medicares, health insurances that come along with those. Health insurance wouldn't come along with that, but Medicare, all those costs increase per every dollar. So I think unfortunately, I didn't catch that we were balancing our back on grant monies that were sitting there in revenue, because we have to, and Miss Amy has to do this correctly. She has to, I'm not blaming this on you. I hope you hear me there say that, Miss Amy. She has to budget 92% of revenues and 100% of expenditures. And we balanced on the back of monies that were going to come out of our pockets later. I didn't realize we were doing that in that time. It would have been a different conversation. That being said, we're faced with the problem that's before us, and I've been through this thing. I missed the 600, but I've been through it, and I can't find monies that are major. The only money we've added to this thing there's money is the 120 employees, and only 95 of them take it. I think currently a $1,200 increase a year. If I looked at that correctly, did I miss that number? We got $1,200 a year is what we voted on, right? $100 a month to medical, and they make a choice what they want to do. We're going to add an extra $100 a month to every employee's medical. That's simple money. There's no extra that comes out of that. That's just simple money. In that case, it's not actually adding to the bottom line, but it might add to their bottom line. They can choose to take it in the bottom line of their pay, or they can choose to take it as a better additional insurance. It's their choice. I like putting that choice in our employees' hands. I say all that to say that I haven't missed any money. I don't think in this thing that we can pull out of expenditures. I don't think it exists in those pieces. If there's a line item, there's nowhere close to a line item that we can pull that much money. We pulled and pulled and pulled to try to balance a budget. My goal the other night was I thought we left here with a pretty balanced budget, but I didn't know that 600 was there. With that said, though, I will make a motion to present this budget as is approved by this committee to the full body. I don't think that other 600 is going to be found in this 101.
All right, I have a motion to send this with the favorable recommendation, I presume, or do you want to send it with? Okay, with the favorable recommendation to the full commission. Do I have a second? I have a second by Bubba Gregory. Any further discussion? Mr. Ford? Yeah, there is no tax increase on this. It remains 210 in the general and 6731 in the urban. No tax increase at all. Mr. Scully.
Mr. Ford, that no tax increase is because we're taking 600,000 out of that 171 this time to try to help our people of this county and not increase taxes is what it looks like. I'm afraid of what that does to the future. And I think that's what you were leaning towards in that case as well. I tried to lean on that a minute ago, and I don't know what we can change. The only way I see, I'm gonna leave that out right now.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, have Ms. Overman with a no, but motion approved. This will go to the commission with a favorable recommendation. And we will go through the 101 with the fine tooth comb and hopefully as soon as possible and see what we need to come up with to hopefully give us a better jump on 27, 28. But I'll say we won't do that tonight. All right, now we will go into the regular Budget and Finance Committee agenda. The financial statements, trustee cash balance is on. Page 17 of your packets this evening. Just a reminder, of course, that these are cash balances, not fund balances.
Just one further statement in that.
To go.
That is with building the $450,000 tower in that budget we just passed, correct? That's part of that $610,000.
Yeah, the tower we have coming out of the 171, not the 101. And so,
An additional 450,000 out of the 171.
yes.
I thought that
Yes.
610 at the bottom is the same 610 we transferred over.
Nope.
In red.
Are there any questions on the trustee cash balances? All right, seeing none, page 18 of tonight's packet, the year-to-year comparison. Property tax, you'll see, of course, the 101, 105.3% of budgeted collections. Of course, that's because we do the 92%. Revenues at 76.1%. Expenses at 64.1%. Of course, the grants are included in those. When we go to the financial summaries, you'll see the numbers with and without grants. Any questions on the year to year? All right, seeing none, starting page 19, 101 financial statement. The revenue line item total is on page 21. Total revenues at 76.1%. Of course, if you take the grant line items out, that number is at 92.9%. We're at 83.3% of the budgeted year through the end of April. Mr. Ford.
One thing I want to point out, we're budgeted on 92%. And our county always collects right at 100%. So there's quite a few dollars laying right there that puts you on the plus side rather than putting you on the negative side.
It does. So like I said, we just
8%, that's a whole lot of money.
we're just not allowed to budget accordingly. Mr. Gully.
Mr. Ford, I don't disagree with the statement you just made, but when we hit 100%, means we gained 92% of what we expected. So we'd have to be at 100. I'd have to figure the numbers be percent of change for a second. But once we hit 100%, that's not 100% of all property tax in. That's 100% of the 92% revenues we brought in. That's why we always see that 1.4. There are still folks that have not paid at that point. I just want to be clear. That's not that we've made it 100% at that point. It'd be nice if we made it 100% once we hit that 92 that we've hoped for.
Yeah, that's the reason in the year to year, you see through April 26th, the 101 collection was 105.3%. So that's that 92% collected plus a little more. Page 22 of packets is the 101 expenses. Total expenditures at 64.1%. You take out the grant line items, that number is 71.3%. Anyone have any questions in the 101? Mr. Ford, did you have a question? Mike's on. Okay. All right, moving to page 23, 111, urban services. Total revenues at 32.0%, but again, a lot of that is a grant line item that is not in revenue without that grant line item is at 88.6%. Total expenditures, 23.7%. Again, without the grant line items, that number is 59.7%. Most of those are the Ward School and the multimodal grant. On the revenue side. Any questions in the 111? All right, page 24, 116, solid waste. Total revenues at 97.9%. Total expenditures at 63.6%. Again, this is through 10 months of the fiscal year or 83.3%. So anytime your expenditures are below that 83.3, we're doing pretty good. Any questions on 116? All right, page 25, 118 ambulance service. Total revenues at 84.8%. Total expenditures at 72.6%. You know, looks like we did not have the line by line breakdown on the sheriff or the ambulance in the packet this month like we normally do. I did text Mr. Beatty earlier this evening. Of course, he had mentioned when we discussed ambulance fund, last week during budget hearings, he had mentioned that he did not have numbers yet on the third party billing service because he was having trouble getting those through the app. He indicated he did have some numbers and he would have those to me tomorrow. Once I get those, I will send those to Amy or send them to everyone on the committee so we can get an idea of what that third party billing is looking like. Any questions in the 118? All right, page 26, 121, Core Civic Fund. Again, these are pass-through dollars that state pays us. We pass along to Core Civic. They look nice on our overall numbers for a while, but and that's about it. Page 27, 122, County Drug Fund. Again, that's under the purview of the sheriff. Any questions in 122? All right, pages 28 and 29, 127 and 128, American Rescue Funding. You will see the projects that have been funded out of those in the current fiscal year. Of course, in the upcoming budget, the remaining funds in both of these will be moved over into the 171. Any questions in the ARPA? All right, page 30, 151 debt service. Total revenues at 98.1%. Total expenditures at 48.9%. Of course, there are a lot of expenditures that will come to pass in May, so that number will look a lot different this time next month. Any questions in the 151? All right, moving to page 31, 171 capital projects. You'll see the revenue, of course, the increase in the impact fee that we put in place. The current year, of course, civic administration fee, a little bit of investment income. And total ending balance right there of 2,351,389. Any questions on the 171? All right, page 32, Highway Fund. Total revenues 42.8%, total expenditures 28%. Of course, the only county money they get is the little over 120,000 in property tax that we pay them. And that's maintenance of effort. Page 33, 141, General Schools. Total revenues 95.1%. Total expenditures 72.2%. Of course, we only are accountable for their revenues, but both those seem to be in solid shape. If no one has any questions in the financial statements, I'll entertain a motion to approve those. All right, have a motion to approve the financial statements from Mr. Ford. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Overman. All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, financial statements are approved. We have 3 budget amendments before us this evening. First one, 101-18G, law enforcement training. This is end of year adjustments, total of $14,000. This is taking from a law enforcement training program and moving into salary supplements for the sheriff, SRO, and drug enforcement. Total of $14,400. Next, we have 111-03G, another internal transfer within the sheriff's budget for salary supplement, total of $2,400. And last budget amendment, 11805, ambulance service, total budget amendment of $60,000. This is $30,000 from their fund balance and $30,000 from their part-time staff that is being moved into the medical staff line item. This is apparently due to vacation payouts, overlapping of old and new employees. Mr. Gully.
Ms. Amy, do I understand the salary supplements for the 101-18G, the LE training? I think it says debiting out of law enforcement training program, placing credit in sheriff's salary supplements, and also the 111-03G. Those are increases that were made by a position jump on the pay scale that was brought to play in 2021?
No, this is a state-funded law enforcement training program. Certain patrol deputies get a supplement every year. This is an annual occurrence.
So this is just money being spent for training,
Yes.
not a,
This is money being brought in from the state. We already have received the funds. I normally do not make the budget amendment until I have received the funds, and then we pay it out to the deputies.
so these are not line item jump, not paid jumps in a,
No.
thank you.
Any other questions on any of the budget amendments? Ms. Overman.
The ambulance, the 118. We're moving 30,000 from the part-time staff to cover regular salaries, right? I wasn't here Wednesday night, but I watched the video and we didn't move the part-time salary number to regular salary. Not that I'm suggesting we need to move it to regular salary, but I don't understand.
What I
Gully.
could get from, what I could get from this, doing the numbers, we've had several turnovers in that department. And so where you had old ones going out, we had to pay their vacation out as well. And you have new ones coming on, they overlapped. So that salary line item got out of place.
I was going to ask this before you answered that, but I think we can lean on the same thing. I knew where you were heading in that one. When we pay out vacation, is that a vacation day? In other words, a 24-hour day? Or is that a vacation hours, 8 hours?
I believe they earn their vacation at 24 hours. So if they are terminated, they have vacation left, we have to pay that out to them.
At 24 hours, which meaning they're getting overtime inside that vacation if it's a week's worth, honestly.
The vacation payout, if they're leaving the county, that there is no overtime calculated with that. We just have to pay out their earned and accrued vacation hours.
Mr. Gully.
Probably not the best place for this, but we can ask it and get the answer to it later. The reason I say it's not the best place, I don't think the answer is going to be available to us. Did that start all during the same mentioned pay, employee pay benefit program that came in about 2021? Is that when we started paying that overtime on that and we started paying 24 hours on? I think you understand the question I'm now asking. I don't think that's an answer that can be answered to right now. That's why I said I don't think that's the best one, but I think it needs to be approached.
I think we probably need to get Mr. Beatty here at the full commission meeting next week to maybe to answer that.
That's not a Mr. Beatty question. The commission in 2021 accepted a raise 2.4% per year kind of piece. And it supposedly went in as our whole policy for pay now, that payment policy that we have in place. I'm asking, did that pay come under that policy? Is that policy what's costing us that is what I'm asking?
Understood. Mr. Gregory.
So you're saying when they quit, they still have to pay them their vacation time? Even if they quit? Didn't know that.
Mr. Gregory, I'm glad you asked that question. I think we have the same thoughts on this one. I think it's part of that policy is when that started. And I think it's a policy that was adopted as I shouldn't say adopted because I don't ever remember voting for it, but I'm going to say it's being used as our plan. I understand we voted for it that one year, but we'll leave it at that. However, in that statement, that plan is what has our overtime, our holiday pay, and all those pieces in that same piece that's being used. That's why I asked the question the way I did. I think we have the same view right now on that, the implementations of what that policy has cost.
Mr.
With
Gully.
that said, I think we're at a point where we need to make a motion for these pieces. I'm going to make a motion that we do the first two, the sheriff's department, and I'll let the rest talk about this. I'm not for this 60,000 to cover, but if we got to have it, I guess Amy says we got to have it right now. I'm not for it, but I'll make a motion for the first two.
All right, I have a motion to approve 10118G, 11103G. These are the two law enforcement ones. Second by Ms. Overman. All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, now, which leaves us at 11805. What's the will of the body in that regard? As we can,
We don't have any other option, right? Amy?
Possible that line item will go.
it is possible that line item will go over, she said. That would mean that that would be a finding on the audit because it would mean that there had been more money spent than budgeted.
Is there a way that can be held by the EMS director to not go over, or ambulance director to not go over? That's my question in this case. When I know I don't have this money to spend, how do I not spend it? What do I plan to not spend it? But if I'm going to just keep handing my 16-year-old money, and I'm saying that because I got a 16-year-old, I'm trying to figure out how to quit handing money all the time too. If I know they're just going to come to the bank and it's going to be there for them, how do we start to change that motion of that comment? That's a conversation here for us to table.
I would definitely say he could start using his part-time employees more.
How much does this leave on the part-time staff? I'm sorry.
About 15,000, she said, for those who couldn't hear. We can send this favorable, unfavorable, or we can just send it. Mr.
How
Gregory.
much vacation time do they get, and how many would it have to be that much of a money. I mean, that's a lot of money. How many people?
We will have to find that out. Mr. Gully.
Ms. Amy, what Mr. Gregory just asked brought another question to my mind. You mentioned earlier that vacation time is not paid as overtime, but if I stack my vacation up, let's say I work 2 days in a row or 3, and then I put 2 vacations in behind it there, would that put me in my overtime statement?
Like I said, we can send this favorable, unfavorable, defer it. Send it no recommendation at all. Mr. Gully.
Ms. Amy, could we hold until June?
We can't hold this till June, so.
I'd make a motion that we postpone this conversation till June.
All right, have a motion to postpone this budget amendment until June. Second by Ms. Overman. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, that one is postponed. All right, it brings us to other discussion items. Of course, given the conversation that we had this evening on the 101 budget, is that something y'all want to try to just look over at our regular June meeting? Do y'all want to try to meet prior to that and have a night just to review 101, or do y'all not want to worry about it at all? Or I guess think about what y'all want to do. I'll reach out to everybody later this week and kind of get a feel for what everybody wants to do in that regard, if that works. All right, brings us to public comment. Does anybody from the public want to speak? Yeah, use your mic, please,
Okay.
but yeah, go ahead.
We're just talking about taking money from one line item to the next, right?
Yes,
On vacation that's already been accrued by the employee?
yes.
And that's an issue?
That was the decision of the committee, and I will leave it at that. Any other public comment? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Gully. Do I have a second? By Mr. Ford. We are adjourned. Thank y'all.